winter yet. Boy, do we have a special one today. Today, we're going to start in Jesus coming to earth as a baby. Why? Why did he do it? Oh, can you tell me why? He came to establish his church. He came to establish a new covenant. To replace the old covenant. To fulfill more correctly the old covenant with the new. Jesus, in Cana of Galilee, did his first public miracle in John chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. Jesus' first miracle was turning water into wine. Okay, why did Jesus do that? At a wedding in Cana, where he, as well as his mother, were attending, the family, the hosting family, probably the groom's family, ran out of wine. This would be an enormous embarrassment to them if it were known to the family of the bride. Would be, oh my, scandal! Oh, absolute scandal! And I joke, but it would have been really bad. Culturally, that would be completely unacceptable. It's like if you say, hey, you want to come over to my place for some pizza? Yeah, that'd be great, sure. Okay, great. When will you be bringing the pizza? Okay. So Jesus is told by his earthly mother, they've run out of wine. He says, woman, it is not yet my time. Well, Jesus probably said to himself, okay, let's do this. And so he did his first public miracle. He gathered up, or rather, pardon me, I'm skipping ahead of myself. Miriam, his mother, said to the household servants, whatever he tells you to do that. Do what he says. Alright, now we're cooking with gas. Jesus says, okay, gather up the vessels. I think there were 6 vessels. These are big vessels. They're like earthenware jars. Big old things. Several gallons apiece. Where they would have their Jewish purification custom of washing. So most likely they were all washing their hands in this stuff. If not, they were pouring it out as people came. Most likely they just washed their hands in these basins or whatever they were. So the stuff was kind of dirty. In my mind, doesn't say that. Does not say that. It says it was the water used for the purification, which was of the washing. Okay. And Jesus turned this water into wine. But not just any wine. Good wine. What is good wine? Well, certain vintage, you might say. Alright. So, they bring this wine to the master of the dining, master of the household feasting. He tries it and he says, "What? You waited until everyone had their fill of wine to bring out the best wine? People normally do this the other way around. You bring out the good stuff first, and then after people have had some, they're having a good time, then they drink the cheaper stuff after that. That's typically how it's done." Well, they brought some of this to Jesus as well in verse 8. Chapter 2, verse 8. So, we have Jesus, earthly mother, the wine, and in John, I believe it says that Jesus' disciples were there at this time. So John, in his gospel, may not be doing everything in the same order of writing as perhaps a very linear gospel that just goes like a biography. Anyway, excuse me. This was Jesus' first public miracle, and people knew it would be impossible to hide this. That he had turned water into wine. That's quite a feat. Quite a feat. Alright, so he turned water into wine. And he came to bring what? To fulfill the old covenant and bring us into the new covenant under him through his sacrifice on the cross, the shedding of his body and blood. Well, in the upper room at the Last Supper, he said to remember him in this way. And we do. We do. Now remember, anytime you gather with Christians, you should be remembering Jesus. You should be remembering Jesus. You gather for even a Wednesday brunch for you fancy types. Well, you should be remembering Jesus whenever you gather as Christians together. Prior to Jesus' sacrifice on the cross, in Matthew 26:29, he says, I will no longer drink of the fruit of the vine until I drink it new with you in my Father's house, or in the kingdom of my Father, something like that. I hope you're following along. Matthew 26:29. Says, I'm not going to be drinking of this anymore. He knew he was about to go to the cross, to be crucified as the perfect sacrifice. And so our time with him, our being humanity's time with him on this earth, would come to an end. About 3.5 years into his ministry, he would be going back to the Father. Oh. And he says, as he's hanging on the cross, and he sees his earthly mother standing with John, the Apostle John, who would have been probably the youngest. He says in John 19:26 and 27, woman, behold your son. And he says to John, behold your mother. He's entrusting the care of his earthly mother to John. Jesus says that he will drink it again. He will drink the wine again. He will drink it new with us in celebration once again at a different kind of wedding feast. The wedding feast where his people would be symbolically wed to him. Jesus is referred to as the bridegroom, and the Christians as the bride. that level of closeness. You know what? We're gonna go a different way on this one actually, because we've heard this before. We're gonna go different ways. So think about the level of closeness between Jesus and his mother on the earth. She had the relationship with him so close as to have a confidence that he would want to help because she asked. Son, they're out of wine. Woman, it's not my time yet. Well, okay. All right, let's do this. That was a very heavy paraphrase. Please excuse me. It's a wonderful thing. I'm very, very glad that we get this little glimpse. All right. So when Jesus came, he came for us. Not only did he just come for us, he came to make us a part of him forever. In our dirty state, we could not fulfill the law, but he could. He did. He could, and he did. He turned that dirty water into wine. The best wine. A perfect vintage. Well, now when Jesus came, he didn't just come to show up and disappear. He was establishing an eternal kingdom through us, through his Christian people. And he didn't just pick his earthly mother out of nowhere for no reason for his time on earth. No. He chose her for eternity, forever. Do you really think we won't see the woman who was chosen by Jesus to bear him into the world of people? I would put real money on that one. We'll probably see that as we get to be with Jesus ultimately. We'll get to see that closeness firsthand and take part in it. In a different way, of course, but kind of the same way. Well, we love him because he first loved us. Okay, well, let's get to kind of the last point here. We don't want to draw the video out too far. So, he used the water that was intended for purification. He turned it into wine. Well, he intends for us to be purified as well. And he chooses us forever as well. And he even gave John the task to care for his mother, the way John would end up caring for the church as well. There's so much symbolism wrapped in these passages that you could go on and on and on with this, and I expect that everyone will do that. for themselves. Oh, this is why we have the Bible. It's one of the most bear loving things, followed by the most bear loving thing. How do you even explain it? But he cared for his mother very deeply, and we see that, and he cares for us very deeply, and we witness that in our lives here. It's fantastic. I'm very happy. I'm very happy to be a partaker in the new covenant with Jesus, under his authority. And that's all for this one.